So you've chosen to play the flute. Congratulations. My name is Elizabeth Sampsey. I'm a flutist and flute teacher in the Seattle area, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I'd like to help you get started, just to make sure you're off to on the right track with making your first initial sounds on the flute. This is one of the hardest things about playing the flute, and it gets a lot of people discouraged. Right off the bat, a lot of people decide to quit because they have trouble making their first few sounds on the flute. And I'm here to tell you, number one, it's really normal to not get much sound or to only sometimes get a sound on the flute. You play on one day, it sounds great, and then the next day you come back and you can't do it at all. Very, very normal. So please don't get discouraged. The flute is a wonderful instrument. It gets better later on. The worst part of playing the flute is the very first few weeks. Once you get past that, you'll be having lots and lots of fun. So let's start to learn about the flute itself. So when you open your flute case, you'll see it's in three parts. We've got, this is called the head joint. This long piece is the body, and then the little piece over here is called the foot joint. So we're going to start with just the head joint. You don't need to get the whole flute out. We just want this piece. This is the part that you blow in. And then we're going to close the case nice and secure so that nothing happens to the rest of the flute, and we're going to set that aside. So now we've got our head joint, and first of all I'm going to hold it up the way that you will be looking at your head joint. So as you face the head joint, you want this piece here, which is called the lip plate, to be on your left, and you want the open end to be on your right. So now that you have that, we're going to take a look at this part here, this little hole. This is the hole that we blow across. Note I say blow across. We don't blow into the hole. Unlike every other instrument in the band, where they blow into their instrument in some way, trumpet, clarinet, everything else blows into their instrument. We blow across. So let me show you what that looks like. If I blow straight into the hole, there's nothing but air. When I blow the flute, and I'm turning to the side so you can see me blow straight across, so you see how my air blows across the hole, not into the hole. So let's help you figure out how to do that. So first of all, look at this hole, the embouchure hole, and draw an imaginary line in your mind. This line goes right across the bottom edge of the hole. So you've got your imaginary line. Now I want you to draw another imaginary line on your face. Find the bottom edge of your lip. So this is right where your lip skin changes to chin skin. Draw a line there imaginarily in your head. And now you want those two lines to match up. So the bottom edge of your lip is going to match up exactly with the bottom edge of this hole. So part of your lip will cover over the hole, but you don't want to cover over the entire hole, just part of it. So now see how my lip, and see how I'm stretching my lip out like a big caterpillar across the bottom of that hole. See that? There's my lip. I'm very pouty with my lip when I play the flute. And now I'm going to blow across the hole, and you need to blow your air pretty far. If I blow my air right here, nothing happens. I just get a little whistly sound. If I blow my air out here, still nothing's really happening. Mostly getting a whistly sound again. I need to blow my air way out here. So imagine that there's a birthday candle and it's like 2 feet away from you, and you need to blow out that birthday candle. So it's a lot of strong air. You have to blow fast moving, powerful air across the hole before it makes any sound at all. The flute uses more air than any other instrument. Why? Because we're the only instrument that we don't blow in to our instrument. We blow across. So half of your air is just going out in the room. It's not even going in the instrument. So it takes a lot of air. So a really common mistake that flute players use when they're starting out is they don't use enough air. Now maybe you're using too much air. Some people use too much air, and then you'll get a really awful, you'll hear about it from your parents and your cat because it sounds horrible. It will sound like this. If you're doing that, well, number one, you're going to get really tired really fast. I already feel dizzy. Too much air. So find that right amount of air. It's a lot of air, but it's not too much. So once we've done that, then the other thing is, how is the flute positioned on your lip? And a really good way to practice this is to practice in front of a mirror and take a look at yourself as you go. Now, you might have your head joint rolled in too far, and you have too much of your hole covered up, and so you don't hear anything. You might have it rolled out too far. So see how my lip is not actually coming all the way up to the edge of the hole. You want your lip to be just covering the edge of the hole and no more. So see how it gets clearer, and as I go out, it gets fuzzier. As I go in, it gets fuzzier. So we're listening for that really clear sound right in the middle. Another thing that can happen is that your flute goes too far to one side or the other. And this is something you'll see really clearly if you look in the mirror. You may not know that you're going to one side or the other if you're not looking in the mirror, because you're not used to feeling it yet. But if I'm over here, see how I'm off center? It's not making any sound. If I'm over here, I'm off center, it's not making any sound. We want our air to go right across. In fact, when we blow, we should be able to see sort of a V shape of air hitting the opposite side of our lip plate. Just like that. Another thing that can happen is we can have the flute too high or too low on our lip. So we get the flute too high. Hear how it sounds funny. If we get it too low, it's too far away from our airstream. Or we may not have the flute close enough into our lip. Sometimes I see people trying to play the flute without putting their lip really all the way on. You have to smash that head joint right into your lower lip. Well, maybe smash is a bad word because you don't want to squish your lip, but it needs to be right there. It needs to be right on your lip, right up under your lip. So those are hopefully a few hints to get you started. You need to practice just on your head joint every single day for the first few weeks. Even after you start learning to put the rest of your flute together, you need to practice just on the head joint to get that sound, because as I said, sometimes it will sound good on one day and then the next day it doesn't sound good. So come back and rewatch this video and experiment with the position. Where are you putting your flute? How much air are you using? Are you using too much or too little? Are you positioning your flute wrong? All those things. You can even have a perfect flute position and then you set the flute down for a second and you go back and you're off. So always be checking, like I say, the first few weeks. After the first few weeks, then you'll just naturally know right where to put your flute, and it's not going to be so much of a challenge for you anymore. But within the first few weeks as you play the flute, this is something you need to work with over and over and over again, and just know that there's a lot of trial and error, and if it doesn't always sound the way you want it to, don't get discouraged, just keep playing. Thanks for watching.